welcome back to the Lord of the Rings Online. This is Gnarlo here. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlo. Good boy. When last we left off, we had just finished Book 5. We were here in Elrond's study, having just traveled to the dwarf fortress of Helgrod, or the treasury of Helgrod anyway, and participated inadvertently in the awakening of the corpse of the dragon Thorog, as we watched the Gaunt Lord and the Nazgul turn him into a dragon white. So at that point, Elrond has said that even though that is a horrible thing to have happened, since he is not in control of Thorog, since Thorog is no longer in the control of the Nazgul or the Gaunt Lord, that he is no longer the chief pressing concern, and that therefore we need to go and speak to Aragorn, who is here in the guest houses at Rivendell. So we have Turning to the North, Book 6, The Forward. So we are going to travel out and go to the guest houses and speak to Aragorn and see what he has to say to us. So let's go over there now, shall we? We have traveled across the valley and entered the guest rooms once again. Here's Legolas and Gimli, fresh and tired from their adventures with us. And right on in through here are Aragorn. I know you're over here, Boromir. Don't you sneak up on me. Okay, let's come over. Let's speak to him and see what he has to say about turning to the north.
It is time to turn our eyes north.
Well, that was straight and to the point. With matters in hand here, it is time to turn our attention to the north.
Will you stay a moment? I must speak with you.
Book 6, Chapter 1 of Guladir and Angmar. Hail and well met, Gnarlo. It is well that you have come. This morning a falcon arrived, bearing a message for me from Estelden, the hidden refuge of my people in the North Downs. It would appear that another such bird came to Estelden from the north, gravely wounded, bearing a message from one of my kinsmen we had believed long dead. I know little more, for the message to me was brief, but Dervun has asked me to come at once. My time here is short, and I cannot return now to confer with my people. My path lies to the south and to the east. Will you go to Estelden in my stead and learn what tidings have come there? Speak to Dervun, for it was he who sent this message to me. I fear that the news is grave, for Corrinir was deemed lost years ago when his captain, Guladir, disobeyed my edict and took a company north into Angmar. They were never heard from again. It is a joy that Corrinir lives, but what kept him from contacting us before now? Alright, so we are going to head back to Estelden and speak to Dervun. So that is our mission today. I believe we have traveled to Estelden in the past, so we will not be taking that journey in real time, showing you how to get there like we do whenever we're in a situation where we do one of our travelogue episodes. We have been to Estelden in the past. That is the hidden base of the Dunedain in the Northern Downs. So we will be taking the stables just as soon as I can come over here and rent a horse for that direction. So we will see you when we approach the hidden outpost once more. And luck was with us today. There was a swift travel directly from Rivendell to Estelden over at the stables, so that was not hard at all. Now we have to find Dervun, who will be inside there somewhere. Let's see if our message gives us any... Nope, does not give us any hint. So we know he is here in the outpost somewhere. Boy, I thought I had grown very tall and very colorful there for a second. Alright, let's run around and look and see if we can find this person. Got a feeling he may be over here in this central section. Perhaps either the training camp or somewhere further to the north. This arrow here. I'm seeing another... There we go, Dervun. Figured he'd be up here near the library area. Everyone is so colorful. Nice purple jacket you got there, Prince. Okay, let's see what Dervun has to say.
What do you need?
Welcome, Gnarlo. Did Aragorn not come with you? Alas, but that is fell news. Well, there is naught for it now. You will have to do. Are you prepared for a long, dark journey? It is through Ramduath into Angmar that I must send you.
Greetings.
And here we go. I mean, when the game first came out, it was called Shadows of Angmar. So you see, Book 6 is where we first get our instructions to go into Angmar itself. Chapter 2, Against His Lord. Perhaps I should start from the beginning. Many years ago, one of our captains, a man by the name of Goladir, desired to enter the realm of Angmar, for he had heard rumor that the descendants of the ancient hillmen of Rudar had made for themselves a home there and began again to multiply. He suspected also that a shadow had come again into Carndum, for fell creatures began to spread southward into the North Downs. Aragorn forbade any to go there, for that land still has an ill name, though it has been barren for hundreds of years. Nevertheless, Goladir gathered those who would go with him and passed out of our memory, until a few weeks ago. A wounded falcon arrived bearing a message from Coronir, one of Goladir's company, stating that he has been dwelling at a place called Oghair, a village of the hillmen somewhere north of Ramduath. Will you go there and speak with Coronir? The urgency of his message makes me fear what has come to pass. I deem we have not yet seen the darkest times. Of course, we will do that. Alright, now it's turning into travelogue. So against his lord, we need to go speak to Coronir and find apparently either the settlement or the remnants of the rangers who traveled north into Angmar against their lord Aragorn's wishes. So now it becomes as a travelogue. We've been to Estelden here before. We are going to travel out through the rear entrance this time. I don't think we've done that. Let's pull up the map and take a look. We've been back to the west there. We've been out back through the west because right up here is LOTRO, the settlement of the dwarves. Is that right? Can't remember. Let's see. Stable. Yes, LOTRO. And down here is the Elven state settlement that was smashed by the trolls, Meluinen. We've been to do quests for both sides before. Down here we had to go into the Nan Wathrin and defeat some orcs, and up here we had to travel against the Dour Hands and free Dory or Ori or one of those. Can't remember which one it was. One of the elves, one of the dwarves who had been captured by the Dour Hands. And of course way over here is Trestlebridge. So we've been all over this western part, but we've never been out the east before. And we're going to travel out here, up through the Ramduath, and into Angmar. Now I believe, if I remember correctly, I think it's this furthest, I think it's the furthest west pass that we have to travel here. But we'll see in just a moment. There are 3 ways to go that way. One of them leads to a very steep drop off and a lair of drakes. The one that's furthest to the east is a very evil route and goes straight through a fortress of Angmarim, the servants of Angmar. And that would be the one we're looking at right there, that pass. We don't want to go that way. Very evil and dark way that is, especially at our level. But we will be going through, I think, this one. So I think maybe it is the central pass we'll be going through. Yes, that's it. It'll be the central one that we're going to go through. Not the one to the far west, not the one to the far east. As you see, most of the stuff along this line here is gray already. If you didn't level so fast, we would have been spending a lot of time in this region. I know we spent several weeks here on earlier characters, whenever Glennoran was traveling about these parts with my brother Keeber and brother Dwyndon and their wife Zammy, Keeber's wife Zamanthia. We spent weeks in this area hunting these wargs and doing the quest here and hunting various aurochs and stuff like that. But not anymore. You just level through all these zones too fast. Yes, I still have my plans to do a version of this, do a playthrough of LOTRO here called Slotro, where I buy the experience slowing stone of the turtle. Now we're entering the Ramduath. And we actually spend our time leveling up at a slow pace and doing all the quests in the zone. Doing it like it was originally intended to be played. As the music is getting rather creepy. And we are coming up on a settlement of Earthkin here. These are friendly Earthkin. This is Lemakoti. You'll remember the Earthkin, they were those giants. We saw some in the Lone Lands. There was a very small settlement of them in the Lone Lands, just south of Ostgurth. And they probably came from right here because they had come from far to the north in the mountains where the evil had driven them out. So there is quite the settlement here, and quite a number of quests that we can pick up. But I'm just going to ride around right quick, make sure that there's... Nope, Cornir is not here. So we need to continue further along until we get to the actual town of Oghair. But as you see, there are a number of quests that you can pick up and get started on right here on the border of Angmar itself. We are going to continue further to the north along the road as it starts to wind up into the hills. You'll be able to tell in a moment when we actually get to Angmar, not just because we've got the platinumizing. Yes, we will be there. Not just because we are going to get the creepy music, as you see, and all the grayness that has crept into the land, but the sky will get truly funky soon. I've got to say, Angmar is there we go. We are entering into Angmar now. Here is the settlement of Oghair, which is right here in the shadow of one of the ruined fortresses here. Living in the actual shadow of the servants of Angmar. Angmar, of course, was the
Greetings, Sothrem.
Let's grab the stable master. Angmar, of course, was the land to the north taken over by the Lord of the Nazgul. So we've come through the Ramduath down here. Here's the exit to the North Downs. We are right here in Oghair, and we have entered the lands of the Witch King himself. And as you see far to the north, there's his mighty fortress Carn Dûm. I imagine built in imitation of Barad-dûr, just as Barad-dûr was built in imitation of the Thangordrim, I believe was the name of it, the ancient fortress of the first Dark Lord, Melkor, known as Morgoth. Okay, let us see if we can find Coronir somewhere here. I believe he is straight on across. I wonder if he's over here with the leader of the people, or is he the one that's further down south next to the actual exit? Okay, I've not actually seen them before. Keeping warm, I guess. Milestone's right here. Just a little bit further to the south is the mailbox. So come to the central island where you're going to continue traveling to the north. Straight on through the tent. As I said, wasn't over there by the leader of the people, so I believe he is right down here in the crafting area. Yep, there's the tent with Coronir inside of it, next to the workbench. And everywhere you look, flock of moosin. I guess they've come north for the winter. So let us speak to Coronir here and see what he has to say about the perhaps ill-fated expedition to the north against Aragorn's wishes.
What do you need?
Who are you? Nay, it matters not. All that matters is that you have come. Matters are grave, and we have need of any assistance we can muster. These good people are beset on all sides by the tyrants of Angmar, who now gather a mighty army to march south and crush the elves in Gondor between their hammer and the anvil of Mordor. Time grows short, and we must act quickly if we are to hinder the shadow of Angmar. Perhaps I should tell you somewhat of our long story. When we first came into Oghair, the hillmen were suspicious of us, but not overtly hostile. Guladir quickly earned their respect, for he was a great captain among us and was able to inspire the heart. We learned that the hillmen were under the oppression of a remnant of Angmar that had returned to Carn Dûm from over the Misty Mountains. But worse, a sorcerer, much likened to the Witch King of old, had also come to the evil city. The hillmen called this sorcerer, the False King, for they knew well that the Witch King himself could never return to Angmar. Guladir determined that the steward of Angmar had to be stopped before he could gather strength in the north. He gathered together as many of the hillmen as would follow him, and journeyed east with the rest of our companions, believing that Angmar was not yet strong enough to withstand a united front. I was left behind to take word to Estelden and invent the expedition failed, which it did. Do you wish to hear more?
What do you need?
Sure, tell me more. Book 6, Chapter 3, Secrets of the Stones. So you would know how this tragedy came to be. In truth, I know not. I do not know whether it was through some false machination of the False King, or whether it was purely by evil chance, but our march was brought to an abrupt end. As we marched east, we found ourselves confronted by a vale filled with terrible statues. Ramas Duluan, the hillman called it. That some sort of evil vigilance abode in the stones there was no doubt, for if we could all feel the oppression of them, it was here that Guladir bade me return. As the host passed through the stones, it became clear why the hillmen feared the valley so. When the last few men crossed Ramas Duluan, Deluan. The watching stones threw forth a terrible malaise of oppression, such that those men caught within it were stricken dead by the weight of it upon their hearts. I tried to pass the stones, but could not. Goladir bid me remain, and so I did. Days turned to months, then years, and still Goladir did not return. I knew I should have returned at once to Estelden, but I could not abandon my captain. I tried vainly to cross Ramas Duluan. Okay, let's see here. Ramas Deluan. Okay, there we go. Take 2. I tried vainly to cross Ramas Deluan until my very spirit was broken within me. At last I sent the message to Estelden, which brought you hither. We must learn the secret of Ramas Deluan, Gnarlo. Perhaps one of the many lesser stones which litter this land, especially near the camps of the Angmar and Hillmen, will reveal that secret. Go to one of the lesser watching stones and take a rubbing of the runes found upon its base. Beware the fell and deadly stones, for they have too terrible a power. So take a rubbing from a lesser watching stone. Alright. So that means we are going to actually travel further into Angmar now. Into the area proper out there with all the wargs and Angmarum and all the evil beasts about. And see if we can't find one of these lesser watchstones. Oh, I remember these creatures too. I have killed many a maddened hill beast in my time. We'll give it a kind of a wide berth at the moment. Platinum mining. And travel home further to the east here. Seeing if we can find one of these lesser watchstones. That we may eventually become across the greater watchstones before we find one of the lesser ones. So I'm not sure where exactly one of these are, one of the lesser ones are that we need to find. Okay, we managed to sneak past the sneaker there. Wonder if there would be one over here in these ruins. So where did he say we could find these? The lesser stones litter the landscape, especially near the Angmaran and Hillmen encampments. So as you see, we have a blank piece of parchment and a small chunk of charcoal. Let's see if we can get past this warg. Right here in the center, there's the next little group, next little encampment, Fail Acro. And this is a quest hub as well, but a lesser quest hub. They don't have a merchant or a healer or anything here that you can actually sell back, but there are several quests that you can pick up in this area. Okay, as you see, this is a dark and blighted land. You look up at the sky, it's red, it's constantly got these strange bolts of energy writhing through the air up above. And the land is blasted, the trees are dead, the ground is parched and cracked. And this is the probably second most successful area in the game. And the music and all is just horrible if you've got the sound turned up. Terrible, terrible. And I don't mean terrible as in they did a bad job. I mean just horrible. It's very well done. It's like the music in the Lone Lands. It's like everything here is designed to make you hate this place. To make you just have this gnawing inside of you that you want to get out of it as quickly as possible because it is such a foul place. Good job, devs. Just like the Lone Lands, it's just a zone that you grow to hate. It's very, not because of the quest or anything, but just because of the general ambiance. They have done a very good job of making it a foul and terrible place. Boy, Lebathron branches everywhere. Alright, we are looking across the foul fens here. I forget what this area is called exactly. The Malinhead. Looking across the Malinhead here, which is a swampy area overgrown with, you see the insects, the flame worms. There are deadly turtles out there, giant turtles and all. We are going to travel further to the south. I believe there is a settlement of the Angmar right here. And perhaps that's one of the lesser stones. Yep, Iron Crown Fighter. Alright, looks like we're going to fight our first Angmar here. Let's see if I can take them out. It looks like our heal may have triggered there. That's good to see. And a Tarkrip Spear Hunter. This place is also home to quite a few goblins as well. Oh, no you don't. We'll throw a rock at you. Come back here. There we are. Another case of riding up through here and things not spawning in quick enough. I'm not really seeing anything at the moment that looks like a... It looks like one of the lesser stones. You'll notice them. They have kind of a cylindrical pedestal on the bottom and a foul and evil winged statue on top, usually. We will head on further this way because, as you see right up here, there's another settlement of the Hillmen. We are going to travel there leastways. That will be the next major outpost. There we go. You heard that trill there. That's some of the horrid music that you get into. Dwarf Iron. We're into the kind of yellow haze that I always call looking at the world through urine-colored glasses. Kind of see why this place is just a foul and nasty area to be in. Got to say, the Lord of the Nazgul, the King of Angmar, whenever he was in these parts, did a wonderful job of destroying the place. Comes down to one of those questions, one of those tropes of Tirn Luig. Here's our next encampment. This is the next major hub here in the western Angmar. You've got all your provisioners, your healers, plenty of... got your task board here. I don't think there's actually a mailbox here, but I could even be wrong about that. God knows what they put in since the last time I was in these parts. And up here at the top, there's a lookout where you can take a look out across the lands. Alright, we have not come across one of the lesser stones yet, but perhaps when we ride further to the east over here, we'll get closer to the big stones themselves, the true watch stones that will kill you when you get close to them. And perhaps there'll be a lesser stone near them that we can take a look at as well. But I'm going to call the travel log here as an end at the moment. We are going to dismount. Not quite as pretty as whenever we stop a adventure in, let's say, the Trollshaws, for instance, and are standing there with our back to the wonderful autumnal forest. But a unique landscape to stop in front of itself. So there you go. That's where we're going to call it for today. We'll get another episode up tomorrow where we travel further to the east, trying to find the lesser watching stone, and perhaps get a glimpse of the greater watchstones while we're at it as well. the ones that have prevented Kurinir from following his captain Goladir further into the lands of Angmar. So we will see you then. Hope you'll have a good evening, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.